Yeah, man, we're not turn on the audio yet. Boss blanket name. Bossa Blanc.
We will win the next election. Before I pose that question, let me just go to Damian Crawford. We have him on online. Good evening, Mr. Crawford. Yeah, we're doing well. Your reaction to the outcomes tonight? Of course, we're excited. We wanted to send the JP to conference depressed, and we have achieved that. It would be a very sad conference on Sunday. I think they should postpone it and recover from this shellacking. But did the win, Mr. Crawford, caught any of you in the party by surprise? No. We are fully expectant of winning the next election. And it is the JLP that have the ability to call it, and they can't call it. That's because everywhere that we have lost, we will get back, and everywhere we want, we will get. So they are in a spot of bother at this moment in time. You describe it as a shellacking. Is it really, though? Well, two love. Any World Cup we'll be celebrating. But surely the margins matter, Mr. Crawford. No, my brother, in politics, the margins don't matter. As Lisa Anna said, if you won by 32, you will skin your 32. So at the end of the day, we only need one to win. We were very strategic in how we approached it. We knew that we had a good margin over in St. Thomas. So we focused our energies and our effort in getting back in and town against a government who have government resources, who have government ministers, and they were beaten. But I don't have to go further than the fact that the Prime Minister can call the election. So if they're confident, call it, and we could prove it in every other place that we want to prove it. Just before I pose that question, let me... Before I pose that question, let me just go to Damian Crawford. We have him on online. Good evening, Mr. Crawford. Yeah, we're doing well. Your reaction to the outcomes tonight? Of course, we're excited. We wanted to send the JP to conference depressed, and we have achieved that. It would be a very sad conference on Sunday. I think they should postpone it and recover from this shellacking. But did the win, Mr. Crawford, caught any of you in the party by surprise? No. We are fully expectant of winning the next election. And it is the JLP that have the ability to call it, and they can't call it. That's because everywhere that we have lost, we will get back, and everywhere we want, we will get. So they are in a spot of bother at this moment in time. You describe it as a shellacking. Is it really, though? Well, two love. Any World Cup we'll be celebrating. But surely the margins matter, Mr. Crawford. No, my brother, in politics, the margins don't matter. As Lisa Anna said, if you won by 32, you will skin your 32. So at the end of the day, we only need one to win. We were very strategic in how we approached it. We knew that we had a good margin over in St. Thomas. So we focused our energies and our effort in getting back in and town against a government who have government resources, who have government ministers, and they were beaten. But I don't have to go further than the fact that the Prime Minister can call the election. So if they're confident, call it, and we could prove it in every other place that we want to prove it. Just before I pose that question, let me...
Good morning. Morning, peeps. I'm still tired. May I tell you, I am still tired. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like trees planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth our fruit in our season. Our leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. Welcome to Portland Spice TV. My name is Colin Bell. I'm your host. Yes. Welcome to Portland, Jamaica. We welcome the people in the diaspora. We welcome the people in Africa. We welcome the people in Jamaica. We welcome the people in Portland. Wherever you are from, welcome to this space. This space is a space developed to promote the parish of Portland. Hence, Portland Spice TV. Portland is spicy and nice. And the channel, this space, is primarily to promote Portland. We talk politics, we talk religion, we talk sex, current event, sports, you name it. We talk it right here. Yesterday, we want to give the Lord Jesus Christ thanks for yesterday. You know, a lot of us are praying members of the party. And we prayed and we asked for the 2 victory. And in the name of Jesus Christ, we got the 2 victories. It's a pleasure to know that, you know, we played our part in as much as we could. I was a runner yesterday. And I tell you people, I drove out of my yard at 5 p.m. yesterday morning. And we shut it down to St. Thomas. And from 5 p.m., from 5 a.m., sorry, we left 5 a.m. My apologies, thank you. We drove out 5 a.m. yesterday morning. And from 5 a.m. yesterday morning until 1 o'clock, my vehicle never stopped running. At 1 o'clock, I said to members of the team who travel with me, no, I shut down the vehicle down. Get a break. Because from a reach down, let me tell them, it's work, me come for work. I not come for stand up one side and look. Me come for work. And my people will put in the work. And the result came. And we were happy. Yeah, man. When we come back in at the bad road last night, because let me tell you something, you know, man. The road from St. Thomas to Port Antonio is atrocious. And on our way back last night, believe me, the ride was comfortable. Comfortable. I want to say morning to my brethren Julian King. Morning to Comrade Natalie Wright. Morning to Comrade Dexter Rowland, because he also journeyed with a team down to St. Thomas. Yeah, man. But me tell you, say, me run yesterday, real runner. I pick up people and I carry people go vote. Yeah, man. And after we took a break in about the 2 o'clock bells, we say, all right, we could see what go on through the division. And we go so ropes and make a run through the division. And we were comfortable. Things that we saw but we never like, we called them in, got them fixed. And the man, we say him name Mr. Portland, when he buck up in me yesterday morning, you can see that he was flustered. And we track him right through the day. So the hanky-panky couldn't go on. And Rosemary Shaw has replaced Comrade Brian, who passed on earlier this year. May his soul continue now to rest in peace. We know Washi is happy. Yeah, man. We know say Washi happy. And, you know, Damian Crawford is a superstar. Damian Crawford.
Lost, we will get back, and everywhere we want, we will win in the next election.
Before I pose that question, let me just go to Damian Crawford. We have him online. Good evening, Mr. Crawford. Yeah, we're doing well. Your reaction to the outcome tonight?
Of course, we're excited. We wanted to send the JP to conference depressed, and we have achieved that. It would be a very sad conference on Sunday. I think they should postpone it and recover from this shellacking.
But did the win, Mr. Crawford, caught any of you in the party by surprise?
No. We are fully expectant of winning the next election. And it is the JLP that have the ability to call it, and they can't call it. That's because everywhere that we have lost, we will get back, and everywhere we want, we will get. So they are in a spot of bother at this moment in time.
You describe it as a shellacking. Is it really though?
Well, two love. Any World Cup we'll be celebrating.
But surely the margins matter, Mr. Crawford.
No, my brother, in politics the margins don't matter. As Lisa Anna said, if you won by 32, you will skin your 32. So at the end of the day, we only need one to win. We were very strategic in how we approached it. We knew that we had a good margin over in St. Thomas, so we focused our energies and our effort in getting back in and town against a government who have government resources, who have government ministers, and they were beaten. But I don't have to go further than the fact that the Prime Minister can call the election. So if they're confident, call it, and we could prove it in every other place that we want to prove it.
Just before I pose that question,
There you go. I heard Damien, big up yourself, Mr. Pong, morning. I heard Damien also on a stage. And I think I saw it, you know. Damien on a stage saying that him here said the conference going to be postponed. And if it is not postponed, I think I want to hear this. If it is not postponed, they're inviting Comrade Crawford and Comrade Golden to be the guest speaker at the conference tomorrow. What can go? Hold on. I can see if I can play that one on the phone. Let's see if I can play that one.
Conference on Sunday.
Hold on. Come back, man. Come back.
Imagine how depressed the JLP will be at their conference on Sunday. Check. I hear that they plan to cancel it. And if they don't cancel it, they're inviting me and Mark Golden as the guest speaker. Totally fine. But I also heard that the man that them call Dr. Chopper send down 14 of the 28 bank accounts today, and we still win. What can go?
I want to say to you, though, my people, yesterday is the beginning of the end of this corrupt administration. And I have something else where I think I'm going to play for you this morning. But before I go any further, let me tell you, at 20 minutes after 9 o'clock, we're going to be having At 20 minutes after 9 o'clock, we're going to be having the Shadow Minister of Finance, Comrade Julian Robinson, is going to be my guest this morning at 20 minutes after 9 o'clock. Because we heard the Prime Minister. On Wednesday evening, saying they're making policy changes to now grow the economy. So all who were challenging me that we are saying the economy is not growing and we are preaching doom and gloom. The Prime Minister on Wednesday said they want now to pivot to growth. So, I want to ask you now, how the economy did that grow and now we are going to pivot to growth? How we are going to pivot to growth now? And them say the economy is that grow. I heard the Prime Minister Sunday night down at Port Antonio High saying that the PNP has no plans for the people of East Portland. And I put out a thing on TikTok. I want to listen to this. Listen to the Prime Minister. I'll label it as GLP lies and PNP vision. Listen this.
The PNP only argue about how the pie syrup, how the cake cut up. but they don't know how to make the pie grow bigger. They don't come to you on the platform and tell you how they are going to create an economy for Portland, for which you
hear the man say that we, the PNP, don't come to the people on the platform and tell them how we're going to create an economy for Portland. Listen to him again.
The PNP only argue about how the pie share up, how the cake cut up, but they don't know how to make the pie grow bigger. They don't come to you on the platform and tell you how they are going to create an economy for Portland, for which you can benefit and your life can change. They don't give you a vision for the future that shows you how you are going to get around. They don't come to you and tell you how they're going to use the natural assets that you have to create wealth.
Navy Island is 78 acres of land. It is sitting idly there in Port Antonio. It is owned by the government of Jamaica under the auspices of the Port Authority. I want us to build a reggae park on Navy Island, a 5-star reggae hotel. They name the rooms after the reggae artists. The Bob Marley Suite, the Rita Marley Spa, the Judy Moore Spa, the Beanie Man Bar. Hold on. We're going to put a statue of all reggae icons on the island. Digitize the statue. So when you go over Navy Island, you swipe your credit card, plug in your thumb drive, download the digital content from the statue, so you leave with digital memorabilia. It is time for vision to move our people from street side greetings to business meetings.
So, what up, Mr. Prime Minister? You say we not go up on the platform and lay out no plans. No, you see, some of them just talk. I'm going to play one more, and then I'm going to show you, because that speech was December 3rd, 2023, where we laid out a clear plan for Navy Island. But if him talking about Jamaica, hear this.
The PNP only argue about how the pie share up, how the cake cut up, but they don't know how to make the pie grow bigger. They don't come to you on the platform and tell you how they are going to create an economy for Portland, for which you can benefit and your life can change. They don't give you a vision for the future that shows you how you are going to get around. They don't come to you and tell you how they're going to use the natural assets that you have to create wealth.
Comrades, Jamaica is short on production. We're not producing. How the US dollar is beating our dollar bad. Comrades, the creative industry that you call the orange economy, and PNP must take it up, because if it is the orange economy, it's our economy. The creative industry is sports, entertainment, the visual and the performing arts, film. This industry is valued $3 trillion a year US. I don't know how much Jamaica make it from it. The Minister of Entertainment and Sports in your last budget presentation said Jamaica made $2.2 billion from the creative industry. That's 0.004% of the $3 trillion. I am saying, comrade leader, that the People's National Party within our first term must aim to get 1% of that $3 trillion. 1% of $3 trillion US is $30 billion. It is $4.6 trillion. Jamaica will become a wealthy country under the next People's National Party. So young people.
So that speech that still came from the speech of December 2023. December 2023. Here, the Prime Minister, hold on there. Here, the Prime Minister on Wednesday. I have the Prime Minister speech from Wednesday. No, that's not it. The Prime Minister, what the Prime Minister speech from Wednesday night? It's Wednesday evening. No, it was Tuesday evening. It was Tuesday evening that the Prime Minister made him speech. But I play it for no Tuesday evening, man. Wait there. Why you not finding the Prime Minister speech from Tuesday evening? Don't know where it gone. I'm going to find it back for no fast before I bring on Julian. Tuesday evening. Yes, see it here. Make me hear it. Because this Prime Minister is a copy picker. And when I tell you that the Prime Minister listen to this show, or him surrogates them, you think I joke. Listen this.
Oh, you want me cut you that?
No.
Said it out as...
No, hold on. That's not it. Hold on. No, that's not it at all. I'll go and find it though. I know I can't find it. Yeah, all right. Here we go. Tuesday evening. This is it. All right. I find it. So I can put it over there so I can play it for you. So after you just hear me talk about the creative industry, and you all on this platform know that I am the person who is pushing the creative industry as a way to turn around this economy. Here the Prime Minister, after him said PNP, no put no plans forward. Listen this.
Not quite a new era. Again, we have been speaking about this, but the government intends to be instrumental in getting this new dimension of our tourism up and running. Our music, sports, and entertainment are world-renowned, but we have not truly maximized or monetized its potential. We will invest and monetize our cultural brand, ensuring that Jamaica reaps the full benefit of our rich heritage and creative talent. We will support our artists, musicians, athletes, and creators to monetize our unique brand on the global stage, ensuring that Jamaicans receive tangible benefits from the export of our culture. A prime example of this is the launch of the Jamaica Screen Development Initiative. In January of this year, I was pleased to launch the groundbreaking $1 billion fund for film in Jamaica.
So you heard the Prime Minister talking about the culture and the creative industry. And the Prime Minister said that the PNP don't come to the platform and put forward any plans to grow the pie. But forgetting that for 9 years, he has been unable to grow that pie. Comrade Julian Robinson, Shadow Minister of Finance, good morning.
Morning to you, Shaka, and morning to your listeners.
Welcome to Portland Spice TV. Yesterday,
yeah, good to be here.
Let me congratulate you on yesterday.
Well, can I accept it on behalf of the persons, the comrades in Morant Bay, or volunteers or candidates, all who worked, round the clock up against a lot of state resources that were thrown our way, but the will of the people prevailed.
Where in Morant Bay were you yesterday? Because I heard that you was in the...
I was at the primary school for the entire day.
That's what I like.
That cluster. No. At Morant Bay Primary,
Morant
which is
Bay
actually
Primary.
in the square, in the heart of the town itself. So I was there pretty much through for the entire day, actually, because that's where I was assigned. So, as I said, a lot was thrown at the PMP, but, we prevailed both in Morant Bay and in town, and I think it is a a strong signal that the people are ready for a change. You know, the Labour Party planned this election 2 days before their conference with an expectation that they would have something to celebrate. You know, I think it's part of the arrogance that we have seen over a long period of time. In fact, I would say the epitome of that arrogance is Nestor Morgan, who planned his birthday party. He planned it 3 weeks ago, and the title of his birthday party was Clean Sweep. Right? Yeah, no, I mean, seriously.
I'm aware of it. I'm aware of it.
Yeah, but it just shows you the level of arrogance that they're at, that they felt that they would have won. I mean, we obviously didn't contest the two constituency seats, but they felt that they were going to win. And, I mean, they threw a lot of resources in both divisions.
I want to big up Comrade Philip Palwell, Comrade Robinson, Comrade Philip Palwell and myself. We were in Dumfries all day. And
yes, and I saw those results.
And when a certain man drove up and couldn't get to operate with the kind of operation that they normally put on, they started to give the police instruction to move us because we are not from there and we don't have a vote there. But God is God. And the saying that when man a plan, God a wipe.
Correct. And again, I mean, there were Philip was there, Natalie, Angela,
everybody,
Dennis, Audrey, everybody came over. I mean, for Morant Bay and in town. So the leadership of the party, quite frankly, was very well represented. And again, I want to thank everybody who made this possible. It was a real team effort. The party leader in particular and Comrade Damien, they spent every day from nomination day either in town or in Morant Bay. Every day tour.
Well done. And I want to remind the people, you know, that the elections yesterday was the PNP versus the government of Jamaica, not the GLP.
Correct.
We weren't up against the GLP. We were up against the government of Jamaica.
Correct. And the government used all its resources to try and get this seat. All its resources.
How much road they barber green, how much road they scrape. My God.
Fertilizer, give out.
House string.
All kind of things.
Yeah,
everything. It is they used that when we had the by-elections in Portland and St. Mary.
Yes.
It worked. Frankly, you know, I think the people have decided that even if they're going to take the stuff from them,
they vote them out.
They have had enough. They have had enough.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Well, I didn't call you here to discuss that this morning, but of course we couldn't start without talking about that and giving God thanks for the victory and thank the people who went out and vote in spite of the people who tried to suppress them, people who tried to influence them otherwise. We have to thank them.
Yeah. Yes.
Julian, we heard the Prime Minister on Tuesday night saying that he is pivoting to growth. But before that, all the statements from the Prime Minister and other ministers was that the economy was doing well. What do you make of this?
Well, the first thing I would say, you know, I do accept this thing about pivoting after being in office for almost 9 years and on the eve of an election. And that all of a sudden now you have determined that you need to go for growth. The reality is that as a government, they have failed to deliver really any meaningful economic growth over the 9-year period. I think people well remember when they started with the 5 in 4 and they had a grand big launch of an economic growth council that really didn't amount to much. Now, the government has taken this perspective that macroeconomic stability was important, which we agree with, but they have almost positioned it as almost a mutually exclusive goal, meaning that you couldn't achieve growth while pursuing macroeconomic stability. And that is actually nonsense.
Rubbish.
And many of the things that the Prime Minister has now announced, which were previously announced over the 9-year period, but not implemented. Mm-hmm. So he really hasn't come with anything new. What I think he has tried to do is to repackage a whole set of initiatives which were not implemented and to present them as this great new plan. to try and convince the electorate that they need to give him another opportunity to achieve this growth. What we are saying is, quite frankly, is that it is not a credible plan because they have failed at many of the things that they have attempted to implement. And after 9 years, they are simply trying to convince the Jamaican people for more time. And from our perspective, time is up, time has come. And you know, the irony of it is that a lot of the things that he now asserts are things that we've been talking about, certainly me, in my budget presentations over the last 3 or 4 years.
Tell me though, Julian, they, from day one, they had a Ministry of Growth and the Job Creation.
Economic growth and job creation.
Right. What happened to that ministry? Has that ministry failed?
Well, you know, what the Prime Minister attempted to do was to pull together a number of ministries, agencies, and departments and put them under one umbrella, I think with the objective that this would somehow drive economic growth. It hasn't. In fact, I think in my view, it has become a bottleneck because everything that needs to be done and needs approval has to come to him as an individual. And I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think it's good for any one minister, and worse for the Prime Minister to have so many MDs, ministries, departments, and agencies reporting to him one. And so it has not, quite frankly, been a success. It has been a failure. And as I said, I think on the eve of a general election, what this grand pivot is to show people, to try and convince people that somehow they have a plan and that they need more time to implement that plan.
Julian, the economic contracted by 2.8%. What does that spell for the future?
I mean, that's hard. So, you know, the contraction really is a result of the hurricane, which was anticipated. But I think what is even more concerning is if you look at the growth numbers leading up to the hurricane, you will see that even though they were positive, they were declining. And they were, the last quarter before the hurricane, it was 0.2 of 1% growth. So frankly, I think even without the hurricane, we would have probably been in a recession.
10 consecutive quarters of deceleration of the economy.
Correct.
So that was coming. Now, the Prime Minister, as you rightfully said, repeat a lot of things that they had brought before. Have you found anything out of it credible that can give us a little hope to start really growing the economy in a positive way?
It's not that what I would say. There are elements of it that we would support, frankly. I mean, he announced removing taxes from gratuities, which I believe was really aimed at reaching out to the hotel workers who are very disgruntled, and which the government has been really slow off the mark in addressing the disquiet in the tourism industry. And that's something we would support. But the point is, why are all of these things coming now after almost 9 years when you're about to launch your election campaign on the eve of your annual conference? And so the credibility issue for me is that they've had a long period of time to do these things. They haven't done it. And now they are trying to convince the Jamaican people that they can deliver it somehow if you give them another opportunity. I think what we are saying, quite frankly, is that time has come for new leadership in the country, a new administration to move the country forward. And the PMP has demonstrated that we have the talent, we have the ideas, and we are committed to improving the lives of the majority of the Jamaican people.
We're talking to Shadow Minister of Finance, Julian Robinson. Julian, we have a new Minister of Finance. She hasn't been there for a long time, but give us your assessment thus far.
I mean, I don't think, as you rightly said, I think it's probably 3 weeks, and I don't think there's been anything major to comment on. I think technically she worked in the ministry before, and I think given her prior experience, she would have been the logical person to assume the portfolio. I don't think she's going to have a long time at the wicket, quite frankly. And so let's see what happens. You know, the Prime Minister has said, you know, let's see the new budget presentation next March and what comes there. But quite frankly, you know, I don't focus on the personalities. I think, you know, this administration has had an opportunity to do the things they have done. They have continued the path of bringing our debt down, which was started by Peter Phillips. But as I said, they really haven't placed any real emphasis on growing the economy.
All right.
And we have outlined very credible and clear plans that we believe can move the economy forward. Some of them have been announced by the Prime Minister, but as I said, I think time has come for change now and new leadership to put Jamaica on the map of inclusive growth. The term inclusive growth, if I share with you my budget presentation from 2022, that was the term I used. And I outlined many of the things that we needed to do. Why? Because we were boasting of the great macroeconomic figures and targets, but quite frankly, the majority of Jamaican people weren't feeling it. And I felt you had to have deliberate policies if you wanted to bring people up. Again, all of a sudden now this administration has determined that this is something they need to do.
And this is where I want to go this morning now, Julian, because you have been preparing for a long time and it is coming closer now. And yesterday shows that the people are ready for a PNP administration. The people are ready for change. What is it that you will be bringing now, Julian? We're not talking about no pivot now. We're talking about from beginning. What is it that you are going to be doing to start that upward movement of growth in Jamaica and for the people to be feeling it in their pocket? Because talking about growth and people are dead for hungry. People can't send them picnic to school. People can't buy their necessaries, can't pay their bills. That's another thing. What is it that you are going to be bringing to the fore under new PNP administration for the people of Jamaica?
Sure. Well, I'm going to say a couple of things. First, there is a cost of living crisis, and one of the first things we're going to examine, and we have started that work, is to look at basic food items, look at the ones that attract GCT, look at what adjustments we can make so that we can ease the pressure on persons, particularly for the basic food items. Some of them are GCT exempt. We have to see if we can expand that, where we can reduce it for particular items. So that's something we have already begun. Now, in terms of sustainability, you have to ensure that to deliver the kind of social programs that are necessary, you have to be growing the economy because we can't borrow to do these things. And there are a number of things that we have said are critical to growing the economy. First, there are some critical sectors like the one that you are a part of, the cultural and creative industries, that we believe a lot more energy and focus needs to be placed on and investments in so that we can reap greater returns. If you look at the logistics-centered economy, we believe Jamaica can position itself to be, a global logistics hub for the movement of cargo, for transshipment, for building, for example, light assembly type and light manufacturing type activities. We believe there is a role for Jamaica in that type of economy. We believe we have to bring down the cost of energy, that our energy costs are too high for us to be globally or even regionally competitive. And we already have some detailed plans in place how we can incorporate renewable energies into the mix so that we can reduce our energy costs. On agriculture, we believe a lot more needs to be done in terms of providing technical support and assistance to farmers, ensuring that we expand irrigation beyond what exists right now. Only 10% of lands have access to irrigation, but importantly, that the technical support is there that farmers can actually know what to plant, when to reap, etc. So those are some of, our growth has to be export-led, so it has to be looking at the products and services which are competitive, providing the support, not just in terms of financing, but technical support, and ensuring that we can move to higher value-added type activities. That's the only way we can grow the economy.
We're talking to Julian Robinson, Shadow Minister of Finance. And I dare say the next Minister of Finance in short order, the election is due September of next year. Julian, you think that they are going down to September, or you expect an election before that?
Well, given what happened yesterday, I think they're going to probably drag it out as long as possible. I think he may have had other ideas up to yesterday, but, given that we won both divisions against all odds, I don't see them having any election in the short term. I think they're going to try and hope that something will turn, although I don't really see anything turn in the corner for them at all.
Give us your views on that $11.4 billion tax payback, Julian.
You know, as a principle, I don't have an issue with it. You know, giving consumers something back. I don't know whether $20,000 is a big thing, but you know, in a struggling economy for people earning less than 3 million, any give back is important. I think it's also an implicit way of bringing people more into the tax net, because what it means is there are persons who we know up to 1.7 million you don't pay income tax, but we do know there are a lot of Jamaicans who are self-employed or who may have additional income, but they don't necessarily file income tax. So in a way, it brings them in because you had to file to get the benefit.
But you think for 20,000 people going to file?
Well, the figure I heard was 200 and something thousand people have applied and have been approved.
Who are already paying. But I'm saying if you think that people who have not been paying or who have not been filing their income tax.
I don't think it would necessarily convince new people, because I think people might wait and say, you know, it's just not worth the $20,000 to do this. But as a principle, I mean, I'm not opposed to government making an effort to bring more people into the tax net. I mean, that's always a good thing. So I don't have an argument with that. And to the extent that you can give back people something, I'm not opposed to that at all.
Julian, I must tell you, though, I'm very upset about it. Very upset, cross, angry about it, because I am of the opinion that $11.4 billion could have been pumped into agriculture, give it as a loan of a cheap loan, 1%, 2% interest rate, get our farmers up and going. So I'm very upset about it, I'll tell you.
I mean, you know, there always, you know, you can always debate about the best way to use resources. But as I said, I couldn't argue against something where you're trying to give people something back. Now, whether that motivation was their real motivation or whether it really was an attempt to, on the eve of an election, to try and shore votes, I would say it probably is the latter, that they want to put themselves in a position where they can get support. But as I said, I would never argue against something where you're giving back to people who are, you know, facing hard times, and people under $3 million are not high income earners at all.
Not at all. Julian, some of the things that we look at as we wrap up here, because we're not going to keep you long, some of the things we're looking at that are holding back growth in this country, transportation is one of them, the road situation. But as it relates to transportation, are there any plans going forward for the PNP coming into power that you will be changing that is happening now?
Sure. I think we have to look at transport. I mean, forgive me, I know you're rural, but we have to deal with JUTC. It needs to be expanded, but we just have to get JUTC to work efficiently. Right now, we're only running at 50% occupancy. I mean, 50% of capacity, which means that you have a number of other vehicles on the road moving hundreds of thousands of people every day. It has led to significant congestion, and I think congestion has become a productivity and a quality of life issue, which we have to address. So one is getting JUTC back up and running, and then I think we have to look at how we can expand, public transportation to the rural areas. JUTC operates in the KMTR, Kingston Metropolitan Area, but rural areas need public transportation for students, and it's something that I think we have to examine as a government. I can't tell you what it would cost yet, but we have to look at it because, one, it's unfair to taxpayers in rural communities who support the JUTC but don't get a benefit, but also it's a significant burden in terms of what parents have to pay to send their children to school, many distances, far distances away from where they are.
The hotel sector, Julian, we see it's a major part of the economy. And we see where up to yesterday, hotel workers are going on strike. What is the fix coming from a PNP?
I think, the reality is, almost akin to 1938, where you had a labor uprising. I think there's been a lot of disquiet in the tourism industry, but workers have been probably reluctant or afraid to come out and express it. Given that one set has, everybody's now expressing it. And quite frankly, I must tell you, when I've seen the settlement or the increases that have been offered, it is really mind-boggling to see the salaries and the conditions that were being paid to some of the workers, and how they have to operate. What we would do, first, I think there has to be more sensitivity, and foreign owners have to understand that if they're operating here, they have to abide by particular standards, right? And what we're seeing here, even though it may be legal, it is certainly not ethical to be paying people and having them work under particular types of conditions. And so we'd have a much more involved presence in the industry to ensure that workers are treated fairly and properly. I think we have to look at housing for tourism workers, and I think part of incentives that we provide to people who build hotels, they must build staff accommodation as well so that we can deal with the housing issue. But, part of being inclusive about growth is that you can't boast about millions of people arriving in the country when the people who are delivering the service, which are your workers, are really suffering and not getting the kind of benefit that you think needs to be they should be getting from an industry which is buoyant,
Do you think that the rates that the hotel offers, they are offering them on the back of the workers so as to get people to come?
Well, that's what they're doing, but they can clearly pay people better wages than that. I mean, I just saw one, I don't remember the name of it, and they announced and they put out a thing in the paper that this is the agreement, 10% this, locker room, this. I see conditions of meals and things, which, I mean, these are not major things that, if you do, a basic principle in life, if you treat your employees well, they'll put out a greater effort, they'll be more loyal. And it's clear that they can pay people better. And they should be paying people better. I mean, yes, you want to make a profit, but you'd have to pay people at the bottom of the barrel. And that is why, when I hear this complaint about we can't find people to work and we need to import labor, it's actually a BS argument. I think if you pay people well and treat them well, they'll be loyal to you and they will want to work for you. But it's very apparent that many people in the private sector believe that they can pay the worst salaries and expect to get good labor out of that. It just doesn't work that way.
It is serious, because if we mess up this tourism industry, one of the few things that we have bringing in foreign exchange to the country, then what we going to do?
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And it's not a good look. In fact, I think one of the first demonstrations, some of the tourists themselves were supporting the workers when they found out how poorly they were being paid, because they know what they're paying the hotel to stay at the hotel.
Yes.
They know how much money they're paying. And they do know that the hotels can do better, and they came out on the picket line and supported some of the workers in their demands for better, not just better pay, but better working conditions. Mm-hmm. And as I said, it really is disheartening when I look at what are some of the conditions that workers have to work on in the industry. And as I said, it supports the view that you do not need to import labor, but if you pay people well, the conditions are good, they will be loyal to you and they will want to work.
Finally, Julian, one of the things that is holding back Jamaica, they said, is crime. I know you're not the shadow minister of security, but if crime is holding back the economy, then it's going to affect your ministry. Are there any idea that the PNP is coming with in a new administration to hold that in a place where the economy can grow?
Yeah, so I mean, I think you have to continue the efforts that the security forces are making, but I think you have to take a more holistic view as to what the origins of the crime problem are. And many of the problems start with a education system which sends out men and women boys and girls at 15 or 16 who are barely literate and numerate, and who, when they leave high school, don't have the skills to go into the workforce and get involved in criminal activities and graduate to hardened criminal activities. I think for those who have not followed the traditional path and have become wayward, I think you have to put in place programs that you can give them an opportunity to reintegrate into the society. Some will, some won't, and sadly for those who won't, they will have to deal with their makeup. But I think the majority of them are willing to come back if they're given the opportunities. So I think, you have to have a more comprehensive social intervention program to supplement what the security forces are doing.
And
And
finally,
we had those programs when we were there the last time.
finally, the research has shown that corruption has cost Jamaica over $100 billion every year. What will the PNP do to stamp out corruption so that that $100 billion can be pumped into the economy?
I think you have to start, leadership has to set the example. You know, we have had a prime minister who is currently under investigation for illicit enrichment, referred to the Financial Investigations Division. He has now taken them to court. You have 7 more JP MPs who are also under investigation for illicit enrichment. The problem is when you have the leadership of the country involving criminal activity, involving corruption, then you don't have any moral authority to lead or to tell others that they shouldn't. And so our leader has been very clear that he won't tolerate that in a PNP government. He himself has been very clear about his own personal principles and what everybody under him will have to abide by. And I think it starts there. And there's been a very clear differentiation between how they operate and how we operate. And we have shown a willingness to be open and transparent about these issues. And they have shown the total opposite, quite frankly. Total opposite.
Julian Robinson, Shadow Minister of Finance, I want to thank you for talking to us this morning. Anything you want to add before you leave?
Again, just a shout out to our candidates in both Delroy Dawson in Town, Rosemary Shaw in Morant Bay, all the volunteers, the people who came out to vote. Against all odds, we were able to pull out those 2 divisions. And it's a clear indicator that the momentum is with us. People want change, and we will continue to work until we get to the general election and deliver the country that we can improve the quality of life for the majority of the Jamaican people.
I call it the beginning of the end of this administration. Thank you, Comrade Julian Robinson. Blessings.
All right, thank you very much. That's it.
Yeah, there you have it. Comrade Julian Robinson, Shadow Minister on Finance, talking to us here this morning on Portland Spice TV, giving the vloggers and the bloggers something to go. We want to say thanks to all of them who come on to the channel every morning to watch and get content for their channel. Yeah, man, Portland Spice TV, we talk solution. Solution we talk. And we hear the Prime Minister now jumping on the culture and the creative industry. Prime Minister, you had 9 years. And I have been talking about it from before that. And you never call me. You never call me. So I can tell you some things because it's for the country, you know. It's for the country. And we believe in the betterment of Jamaica. Yeah? We choose our party as a vehicle. And like I told a young man, I think it was last week or earlier this week, that we must use politics as the tool to fix our community, to fix our division, to fix our constituency, to fix our parish, to fix Jamaica for the betterment of our people. Want to open the phone lines, 804-7072. You can call me straight or you can call me on WhatsApp.
Quite a new era. Our music, sports, and entertainment are world-renowned, but we have not truly maximized or monetized its potential. We will invest and monetize our cultural brand, ensuring that Jamaica reaps the full benefit of our rich heritage and creative talent. We will support our artists, musicians, athletes, and creators to monetize our unique brand on the global stage, ensuring that Jamaicans receive tangible benefits from the export of our culture. A prime example of this is the launch of the Jamaica Screen Development Initiative. In January of this year, I was pleased to launch the groundbreaking $1 billion fund for film in Jamaica. That's the first time, and I believe probably the only time, that any government has made a dedicated capital expenditure to support the development of the creative industry. And this is specific for the film industry. A signal a signal that we are serious about monetizing and creating a real economic industry out of our creative assets. In order to thrive,
the PNP only argue about how the pie share up, how the keep cut up, but they don't know how to make the pie grow bigger. They don't come to you on the platform and tell you how they are going to create an economy for Portland for which you can benefit and your life can change. They don't give you a vision for the future that shows you how you are going to be better around. They don't come to you and tell you how they're going to use the natural assets that you have to create. Well,
Comrades, Jamaica is short on production. We're not producing. How the US dollar is beating our dollar bad. Comrades, the creative industry that you call the RNG economy, and PNP must take it up. Because if it is the RNG economy, it's our economy. The creative industry is sports, entertainment, the visual and the performing arts, film. This industry is valued $3 trillion a year US. I don't know how much Jamaica making from it. The Minister of Entertainment and Sports in your last budget presentation said Jamaica made $2.2 billion from the creative industry. That's 0.004% of the $3 trillion. I am saying, comrade leader, that the People's National Party within our first term must aim to get 1% of that $3 trillion. 1% of $3 trillion US is $30 billion. It is $4.6 trillion.
I want to play the next one because you know.
The PNP only argue about how the pie share up, how the keep cut up, but they don't know how to make the pie grow bigger. They don't come to you on the platform and tell you how they are going to create an economy for Portland for which you can benefit and your life can change. They don't give you a vision for the future that shows you how you are going to be better around. They don't come to you and tell you how they're going to use the natural assets that you have to create wealth.
Navy Island is 78 acres of land. It is sitting idly there in Port Antonio. It is owned by the government of Jamaica under the auspices of the Port Authority. I want us to build a reggae park on Navy Island, a 5-star reggae hotel. You name the rooms after the reggae artists. The Bob Marley Suite, the Rita Marley Spa, the Judy Moore Spa, the Beanie Man Bar. Hold on. We're going to put a statue of all reggae icons on the island. Digitize the statue. So when you go over Navy Island, you swipe your credit card, plug in your thumb drive, download the digital content from the statue, so you leave with digital memorabilia. It is time for vision to move our people from street side greetings to business meetings.
I saw you put people to shame. When people talk, they talk. You come with the proof. You come with the evidence that we have been putting forward plans to grow Portland. We have been putting forward plans to show the people of East Portland how they are going to have a better way of life. So when you come to Portland and say we don't come on platform and tell people how we're going to grow the pie bigger and make the economy better, we show the people that you're lying, my brother. We show the people that you're just chatting off your mouth, Andrew, because we have come forward and put it on platform and everywhere else, that we have a plan. OB, Conrad O'Brien, the fireman from News Talk 93. Morning and welcome.
Hi, Colin. How are you doing? Good morning to you, your many viewers and listeners across this beautiful island of ours, and indeed the diaspora and the rest of the world, Colin. Indeed, the fireman here, and you know, we burn the fire hot from Babylon. We're blazing.
Blazing. Yesterday was blazing. What say you?
Indeed it was. Indeed it was, Colin. And you know, I mean, the videos are all over the place, viral. Those videos that I would have done with interviews that I did with the Speaker of the House, the Honorable Juliet Holness, MP for East Rural St. Andrew, and also the President of the People's National Party, the man himself, the man of the moment, Mark Jefferson Golden, Marky G, and indeed the Tourism Minister, Edmund Bartlett, and so on. I covered them all yesterday. People like Valentin went out of Northeast Manchester, that was there in a very potent way and did human service himself and his team outside of his constituency. Also out of South Trelawney, and North Trelawney rather, Wickham McNeil and his team. Very, very vibrant underground. And it was really and truly a coming together of the People's National Party in that Indian Town division that I basically covered yesterday. And certainly the People's National Party, Mark Jefferson Golden, seems as if they have come of age. And as I used the term yesterday, they seem impregnable going forward, Colin. So all in all, yesterday was a glorious day for the 86-year-old political outfit called the PNP. The JLP had gotten a major backsliding. This was a national, what you could describe as a referendum and the PNP. And I saw the nonsense, and I'm going to call it for what it is. The nonsense purloined in some news outfit that it's 2-2 yesterday. Absolutely not so.
What?
That's 2-2 yesterday. It was 2-2 yesterday. Absolutely not so. The PNP contested 2 elections and won those 2 elections. And I can tell you that the people that I spoken to, they were feeling a sense that, listen, they want to go out there and do this to send a message to the Prime Minister and to the Jamaica Labour Party, and not to be political here, but just to borrow the acronym of the People's National Party. The people were saying, indeed, time come. And I think what you saw yesterday was really a dress rehearsal of what we could see in the next few months whenever the Prime Minister decides to go to the people of Jamaica in the general election, Colin.
I wasn't lucky like you, Conrad, to be doing interviews and all of that yesterday. I was in the Morant Bay division. I worked out of an area called Durham, and I was actually a runner. Well, not a runner, a driver. And as I told my listeners this morning that I left
driver stroke runner, because that's what you do.
Right, so that's why I mentioned the 2. I left my house at 5 a.m. yesterday morning, and I got to Dumfries at about 8 minutes after 7 o'clock, and I did not hesitate. We were up and down, round and about, taking people to vote, picking up people from their house, taking them to the polling station. I didn't stop until about 1 o'clock. After 1, I said to my team that went down there with me that, listen, I need to shut down this vehicle now. Give it a break. And I shut down the vehicle and we were there. So, Obi, I never tried video anything. You wouldn't believe it. It was just ensuring that we got the votes in the box, because for me, we wanted those 2 seats and we wanted them badly. And we worked. And we saw the vulgarity of the government. Because as I told you before, Conrad, these by-elections are not the PNP versus the GLP. They are the PNP versus the government of Jamaica. And therefore, go ahead.
And Colin, as you mentioned about the vulgarity there, it is instructed to say that a media colleague, Dwayne Anderson, that I had a discussion with yesterday during the campaign as well, during the election rather, yesterday I had a discussion with him, you know, and he had basically carried a report and TBJ, RJR, that they saw in front of their very eyes, you know, where the whole business of vote buying was really somewhat evident. They saw where $5,000 and so on was changing, and I'm kind of paraphrasing now. I'm not carrying what he said verbatim. However, he said that, and he put that to, I don't remember if it was Mrs. Hall, but he put that to some official in the Jamaica Labour Party and ask them, you know, what say they on that, and so I don't remember exactly what was said. But to me, Colin, that speaks volume, because here it is. Television Jamaica is not a fly-by-night media house and so on. And for them to carry that, to say that, listen, they have seen something clearly, what a number of people in Jamaica talking about, I believe that discussion must form a part of the fabric going into the future. I also want to say, Colin, that what Mark did yesterday, he was not coy, he was not coward. He said, listen, they have been going on in this division, going across the country, so to go, going to these divisions specifically over the last few weeks. And he said that they have done the work, and he was confident, and he's putting this on the line to say that this will be a test to see what the people will do going forward. So he wasn't hiding behind any bushel to say that, boys, you know, we might get a victory, and this is, he put it out there, and I think he must be commended. And certainly, when you saw him last night moving through, Colin, he was as happy as a lad. And I must say, for what it's worth, it's important for me to say this, because I feed off the energy of the people and what is said on the ground. And that is why our situation, Colin, is so credible. Because we don't just talk from the seat of our pants and from our own opinion, although we are somewhat opinionated journalists, but we actually feed off the people. And what the people were saying yesterday, Colin, is, my God, Mark Golden remind we are Michael Manley. That was what you were getting off so many people's lips.
Conrad, watch this. I'll go and bring a guest. You know this man?
Conrad, the man of the moment, the fireman, the man who speaks you to power, the man who Jamaica, a lot of journalists in Jamaica say no man refer to him.
Jeffrey, morning and welcome to Portland Spice TV.
Thank you, Colin. How you all doing? What a momentous occasion last night, man.
Oh God, man! I tell you something. None of you guys know the road from St. Thomas into Portland. They are working on it now. They're digging it up to really do continue the Southern Coastal Highway. And it felt like a smooth road last night coming back from St. Thomas.
Yeah. You didn't feel anything at all?
No, it felt so smooth. Everybody in the vehicle was just happy, and we were just going. I can tell you, I slept like a baby last night.
Yes.
Let me just greet my friend and brother Jeffrey Tavares. Jeffrey, I know who you want, Jeffrey. Please, just bear with me. You know the thing how it go, but I owe you one. And
that makes two of us, Conrad. I owe him one as well.
I'll spend some time with you, Jeffrey. So
right,
mark the present on your calendar. I think Mr. Watson called me yesterday. Mr. Watson called me.
I don't know why I'm getting an echo. I'm getting a serious echo. I don't know why.
I think it's coming from me, but hold on, Mr. Conrad. I'm having a current affair program on Monday. And I'd love to have the two of you on.
Present.
What time?
It starts at 7 o'clock. You can come on at 8 o'clock.
Present.
All right. Continue, Conrad.
Yeah.
Good. I was saying that Mr. Rattigan, the rebel, he reached out to me last night and he invited me to come on with him this evening. He started at 3. I think I'll join him like about 4 o'clock or so. So, you know, we'll be talking on some issues there, certainly on yesterday as well as we're doing here today. And it's indeed, Jeffrey, I want to really and truly congratulate you as well, because you have been doing serious work. You have carried most of the conferences and so on, and most of the event live on your YouTube channel, Make We Talk, you know, and it's really a melting pot. And I think that the People's National Party, and I think they're doing it. However, they will have to understand, Jeffrey, that, for example, platform like yours, platform like this, SHACKA, and so the PNP will have to come on them, because this is where it's at. A lot of people this is where they get the news. This is where they get their information. We saw what happened in the United States with the Joe Rogan podcast there, and others that Donald Trump went on. Young people, certain people who are not tuning to mainstream media, they are here. They're on this space. So the People's National Party will have to do that. But let us just say that what a situation. And let me hasten to say hearty congratulations to Mark Boland. He's on a winning streak. He won the local government election in February, and he has 2 more under his belt now. So it's 3 long. I
don't know if any of you knew that we had Julian Robinson on earlier this morning. Had him on for about 40 minutes.
I wasn't here.
Right. So I think the PNP, they are also making themselves available for these kinds of show that people can get deep into their thinking and what is it that they are coming with. Jeffrey, what yesterday meant to you?
You know, I would love to get the comrade lead and Dayton Campbell on my program for the Jamaican people in the diaspora, because last night my phone rang off the hook. They were saying, Jeffrey, good broadcast. And they went on to tell me, listen, they are ready. They are ready to join the team. They are ready to come down and do the work when the election is called. Last night, when I sat and I saw what was going on, I was the person who said on my platform, I am not going to call this, I'm not going to say that this person and that person, because I haven't seen it on the AOJ website. You know? So I would never do that. But when I hear it come over now, I say yes. And I start joining the other groups and the other live feed out of St. Thomas and out of Clarendon. I said yes, Jamaicans have spoken. The hotel workers in our country has spoken too. It cannot continue in this country where we have Bucky Masters ruling this country. It cannot continue. We have Bucky Masters who own hotels, who believe that they must come to this piece of rock and treat us as if we are slaves in our own country. We came here by labor pay, not by aeroplane. This rock belongs to us. And we, the Jamaican people, must stand up and say enough is enough. It can't continue, Conrad and Colin. It cannot. Go ahead.
You know, Colin and Jeffrey, it's amazing, Jeffrey, that you went there. Because yesterday when I interviewed the Minister of Tourism, and I'll describe him as such, the consummate marketer, Ed Bartlett, in terms of tourism. When I interviewed him yesterday, although we were talking about the election, the by-election and the day and so on, but as a media man, a man who understands to seize a moment in time, I pivot and I put the question to him. I said, with what is taking place within the industry, hotel industry, his industry, that we're seeing so many protest, demonstration, would this dovetail and have impact and the national body politics, and we could see it play out here today? And he said no. He said not at all. As a matter of fact, he said the reason why the people are protesting is because they have jobs. Can you imagine? It's because they have jobs. So the point what he was trying to make is that, listen, if they didn't have any jobs, then they would not be protesting. But you have I kind of laughed. I didn't push ahead too hard on that, but I really took note of it.
No, Conrad. I think you should have pushed him hard on that one, because he's talking utter nonsense. He's talking rubbish.
Jeffrey, you know, the last time we had full employment in this country, there were massive protests. You remember that? The last time we had full employment in Jamaica was slavery. And the people protest. Paul Bogle, Sam Sharp, Nanny, and destroyed it.
And remember, those two went on the gallows.
By the way, did you all see the video out of Jewel Paradise, I think? There's a new video out last night, was sent to me by our good friend Granville Valentine. I did on the program last night too.
The latest protest yesterday, because there was another protest yesterday. You know?
The latest one was by a principal.
Yeah, by a principal, yes.
What was on that video, Jeffrey?
When I saw the crowd of people rushing out, I said to myself, is this Jamaica? I called Granville and said, Granville, is this Jamaica? He said, yes, it's Jamaica. I couldn't believe my eyes. And what I don't understand, when the first protest started in Negril, why is it that why is it that they didn't do something about it? What they did was to go down there and meet with the Bucky masters, and I will not apologize. There are Spanish Bucky masters in this country that sell this country out for 30 pieces of silver. And the time has come, Conrad and Colin, for we, the people of this country, to say no more. We will not sit by no more.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that when negotiations for these investors to come to Jamaica are taking place, people who are conducting these negotiations are taking something under the table and leaving the workers out in the cold?
Quite obvious. Because if they wasn't doing that, why can't they be like the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda and say, pack on the damn bags and go? We believe in this rock. We born here. We're going to run this country for the people of this country. But no, they sell this country bit by bit from 1932 until now. They've been selling this country out. And the time for us to wake up is now. Wake up, Jamaicans. Stand by the hotel workers.
But Jeffrey, if we tell the investors to pack up and go, we're not going to suffer. What is going to happen?
Listen to me. If they can't abide by the laws, these same hotels have hotels in North America. And they have to abide by the laws of the United States.
And hence my question. The people who are negotiating for these investors to come here, are they taking something under the table and selling out the Jamaican people?
Of course, that's what they're doing. And no apology about that.
All right, let me weigh in on that. I don't know. My first answer to that, I don't know, and I don't want to accuse anyone. However, what I say, Colin, as what Senator Lambert Brown said to me in an interview on Monday, that there are some things that we need to fix. And one of the main things that we need to fix in terms of getting this thing under control within the hotel sector, the tourism sector, is to get rid of this very, very egregious situation, which is the short-term contract work. We need to get that fixed, because without we have that fixed, then we are going to have this problem perennially going in a perennial spiral. However, what we need to call on is for politicians to have backbone to do so, because this thing can be rectified by the stroke of a pen. We know, for example, that one of the mantra of former president and opposition leader of the People's National Party, Peter Phillips, is that he was going to do everything under his power to get rid of this short-term contract work. And we hear from Mark Golden that he is also wedded to that principle. We also saw a video out from Mark Golden where he talked about this. There's also additional thing, Colin, that we have to get done in Jamaica, which is it's intertwined within the tourism sector. And we saw even the tourists saying that, listen, this is backward. And I'm talking about beach access. Because even the tourists are saying that how comes our people, the Jamaican people, don't have
them on the beach.
Don't see them on the beach.
The tourists can't mix with them.
So there are just so many things that need to be done. And what we need is the political will. I said to you earlier, sorry, Colin, I said to you earlier that during my sojourn across Jamaica, but I saw it and heard it yesterday in a more pointed way, where people was making the comparison with Michael Manley and Mark Jefferson Golden. And I'm saying that Mark Golden has an awesome responsibility. He said that he will do this thing, he will fix the access to the beach, he will do certain things, and we're expecting for this short-term contract situation to be dealt with in earnest, and the voters who seems as if they're ready for Mark Golden and the PNP, they will hold him accountable for it. So he must now sharpen his pencil and have his people ready to go to work.
Conrad, you talk about these short-term contracts in the hotel sector. These short-term contracts also exist in the public sector and government.
Everywhere.
So we must fix them there first.
Everywhere.
Government and contract and can't get the kind of security of tenure, can't get the benefit that they require. It must stop.
Absolutely, Colin. And I want to be fair, because I don't want anybody to come down and then say, Conrad, you're a PNP hacker and so on. I don't mind people accused, but I just want to put it out there. We saw recently where some lower level public sector worker are now on permanent employment situation. They're no employee, and I'm talking about the workers primarily at the National Solid Waste Management Authority under the leadership of my good friend Audley Gordon. And those workers are now, the sweepers, the persons on the truck and so on, they are now permanent worker. They are now enjoying some things like insurance. They will have a little pension and so on and so forth. And that is very good. And I want to commend that in our big way. We need to see that spread out so that the workers in the wholesale, the workers across the tourism sector and elsewhere being protected and able to get some benefits as well, Colin.
Jeffrey, you want to chime in on that?
But I want to say, yes, let me say this before I say what I want to say. I see where Gaston Brown tell one of Jamaica's world-class person who is also an ambassador who own hotel chains in this country, that if you can't pay your fair share of taxes in my country, leave. The question that we Jamaicans must ask the government of the day is, these all-inclusive hotels, are they paying their fair share of taxes in this country? When you have small hotels on the 7 Mile Strip in Negril struggling to pay their taxes, is the bigger people who own hotels on the 7 Mile Strip in Negril and other places in Jamaica, are they paying their fair share of taxes? That is a question, and the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance must come out and tell the Jamaican people what is going on. Because if they're not paying their taxes in Antigua and Barbuda, what is going on in this country?
Well, that's a we don't know that. We don't know if there's an issue with
a question Jeffrey's asking.
No, man. I agree with that. And I'm saying where I'm going. I'm saying that's a reasonable question that you're asking. So if there's an issue there, then certainly, we need to know. We need to know if the fair share of taxes being paid. So it's a fair question here putting forward. I don't know, but it's a fair question.
And to the question that is on the thing here about the mayor, I think Conrad can chime in on that to tell us if that is so. Because if the mayor is already in place, I don't think they're going to move the mayor. Is that so?
That's what we've been getting since yesterday. Conrad, where you have?
I spoke to a local government practitioner, probably one of the best in the country, and he said to me that based on the tradition, this is duty bound. It is duty bound for the shifting of the mayor. What should happen is that the deputy mayor should be appointed to somebody on the, well, in this case, on the JLP side, and the PNP will now get the mayor based on the
popular vote.
The fact that the PNP has the majority vote. I saw.
Go ahead, Conrad.
I spoke to the leader about that yesterday, as well, seeing Sean Barnes being picked up the volley chain, so to speak, as the mayor, and he's of that opinion. I've also heard and saw Sean Barneswell at a meeting in Bago last night where he spoke, and he is gung-ho and actually start to even send out his agenda in terms of him being the mayor. However, on the flip side of it, Joel Williams, now Mayor Joel Williams, he was quoted in an interview yesterday that saying that whatever happened, and this was before the result, whatever happened, he will still be the mayor.
I heard him on RJ News saying that because he was saying that there's a law that protects him, the fact that he is already the mayor, he will remain the mayor. So I am seeing exciting times ahead where we're listening out to the legal luminaries, what are their take on this. Because one of the understanding that I get, to move him, there must be a vote of no confidence. And being 50-50, then the PNP wouldn't be able to win that vote.
Unless it would have to be done in a very timely way, or unless they're able to basically coerce one or two, at least one of the JLP councillor to vote with them.
And let me say this though. To move the mayor, you first have to move the deputy mayor. Because if you move the mayor, the law says the deputy mayor automatically becomes the mayor. So the first order of business, if the PNP, if Cian Barneswell wants to become mayor, you're gonna have to be the deputy mayor in that way.
But gentlemen, isn't there a part in the Local Government Act that speaks about that?
I think it is in Roper that says, but the difference with this one, Jeffrey, is that this is not the whole election. The fact that you have a mayor who is already in place, I think that is where it makes some changes.
I'll agree here. And what happened, even with the situation as to how the mayor is selected when you have a tie, it's not enshrined in law. It's really a convention. But the convention has always been upheld by both political party, and it is important because we saw this precedent in Clarendon before, where former late Mayor Brown was the mayor, and my goodness, and my good friend, oh gosh, Mr. Leopold. What's Leo's last name again? Can't sort of having a senior moment here. But Leo was the deputy mayor there on the PNP side. So we saw that happen, that play out in the very parish council or municipal corporation in Clarendon. But that was at the time when our national election took place, and it was sworn in these people. So it's going to be interesting to see what obtains now with, you know, this being a by-election. But as I said before, one of the persons in this country who has enormous experience in this, he believed that this should flow natural, where the PNP get the mayor and the JLP get the deputy.
Gentlemen, let's move on to something else. The Prime Minister called these by-elections 2 days before the JLP annual conference.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that they were expecting going into the conference? Have they achieved that? And what will the JLP conference be like on Sunday? Let me start with you, Jeffrey.
I personally think that Prime Minister Holness think that he was going to get a celebration going into his conference, going to celebrate going into his conference. And when you see what happened last night, it begs to ask if the Labour Party is in tune with the Jamaican people. It begs to ask if the Labour Party is connected with the Jamaican people. And for a Prime Minister to believe that, yes, I'm going to celebrate everything, and for their mongering, and I will not apologize, no Conrad, no vex with me now, for the person who love to go on their platform and speak about a Jamaican citizen who was born here, that he should go back on the banana boat. What is he saying now? He disrespected Don Anderson for the poll. What is he saying now? And they believe that they're going to go into their conference enjoying themselves and celebrating of what happened. The people of this country is sending a clear message to the Andrew Holness administration. Enough is enough.
Conrad, don't come in there, Conrad. Listen to this.
Imagine how depressed the JLP will be at their conference on Sunday. Check. I hear that they plan to cancel it. And if they don't cancel it, they're inviting me and Mark Golding as the guest speaker. Totally fine. But I also heard that the man that them call Dr. Chopper send down 14 of the 28 bank accounts today, and we still win. What can go?
Conrad.
You know,
Only Damien Crawford.
I was right there. As a matter of fact, Damien gave me a hug and shook my hand when he departed the platform last night after that thunderous applaud he got, you know, for that delivery as usual. Vintage Damien, always on the cutting edge. Jeffrey, I must surprise you. I'm not upset with you, and I won't take you on for what you said at all. because certainly I believe it is out of order, it is rude hearing that kind of utterance coming from the platform of the Jamaica Labour Party to talk about Mark Jefferson Golden, a man who was born right here in Jamaica, spent all his adult life basically apart from when he went and studied and returned to Jamaica, built the fabric of Jamaica and so on. His father, his late father, is responsible for one of the premier institutions to help some of our people who are in the most in such position, no doing of their own and need help. So we need to commend Mark Golden and look at the man, you know, based on the contribution that he has made and continue so to do. I heard, and Thursday it was, I listened to Nationwide 90 FM, and I heard Everall Warmington on the platform with a presentation laced with those efforts. Is F for them going on with, and those a-hole. You know, and it was, I said, although he wasn't saying the word out in full, but we know where he was going. And I'm saying to myself, why the radio station continue with that broadcast? They should cut him, even though it was a paid outside broadcast. You know, and when I heard him talking about if Mark want to be prime minister, there is how many prime minister change within a short period of time in England. That's where he should go, and all of those sort of things.
Conrad, I told people when Everard Warmington disrespected me, I said to the people of Jamaica, Everard Warmington didn't just disrespected Colin Bell. He disrespected every citizen of this country. Disrespect to one is disrespect to all.
I recall you saying that. I recall you saying that, Colin. But let me move now, if I may, to the main question that you asked about what this means. And I start by saying this: within recent weeks, maybe the last 2 weeks or so, we saw a number of things coming out that certainly must be impacting the body politic of the Jamaica Labour Party. And, their energy certainly must be low at this time. And it's going to be instructive to look, even if they have a big crowd on Sunday, what the energy is like. So that's important there. So we saw Councillor Kim Brown Lawrence hitting out.
Yes.
We also saw veteran politician, long-standing member of parliament and former minister of government, Carl Samuda, basically in disgust.
There's another councillor that hit out to Conrad. Another female councillor. What's your name? It wasn't just Kim Brown. There's another female councillor. That tape is out now.
Oh, yes. She's the council for Rosie Hamilton.
Yes.
Rosie Hamilton as well, the council for the Raytown division. And she said that they're talking about she don't like the prime minister and so on and so forth. So what we're seeing, Colin, from all of that, we saw where the foundation of the Labour Party seems to be shaking, even with the facade, the covering of it and so on. But certainly, it seems as if there is a lot of blood on the floor within the Jamaica Labour Party, and I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised. Hold on, Colin. I would not be surprised if we understand that there is a sale out, there is a shortage of mops in the wholesale because there's so much mopping up of blood on the floor within the Jamaica Labour Party.
Hallelujah. Lord have mercy.
Oh man, this reminds me of the late.
You're going wicked Conrad, man.
This reminds me
on the floor.
This reminds me of the late Wilmot Mutty Perkins. The center cannot hold.
Go back to Carl Samura. That's disrespect of the highest order.
I'm honored, Jeffrey. I'm honored, Jeffrey, that you're putting. Yeah, but so coupled with what took place yesterday, the victory that the Prime Minister was anticipating, and certainly when I talked to Mrs. Holness yesterday, I'm not even going to say his wife. I'm going to say Mrs. Holness, MP Holness, treat her in her own right, Speaker of the House. And when she spoke yesterday, along with the former mayor of Maypen, my good friend Winston Murad, and they were so gung-ho and excited and say it will be a victory for them and they will be going to the conference with the wind in their back. That wind is certain, that wind has certainly dissipated. And indeed, I believe that going into the conference tomorrow, the Prime Minister will be going there quite mindful that the tide has now shifted.
What does it mean? Hold on, Conrad. What does it mean for them to win the 2 parliamentary seats? Does that have any significance? Quickly.
No, because not at all. Because what happened, if you notice, if you're really drilling down, and look at it from a point of numbers and so on, you could almost say that the JLP run against itself and lost,
Oh yeah.
They run against themselves and lost because of the number. So all in all, Colin, yesterday was a very, very bad day.
You know what I called yesterday? You know what I called yesterday? The beginning of the end of this administration.
Well, it would seem so. One could easily deduce from what we're seeing, what we saw happen yesterday, Colin, that certainly the writing is on the wall. And that's why I use the term when I started to say that what we're seeing, Mark Golding and the People's National Party, the 86-year-old political outfit, seems impregnable as it is right now, because we're seeing where things look as if it could get better. And remember now that all of this is coming off the heel of a Don Anderson poll, a credible Don Anderson poll that show the JLP on the deep water with a 9, almost 10% deficit in the polls.
And I'm sure that's going to grow now.
It should. And let's just remind our listeners, Colin, and viewers, that this could grow very, very humongous in terms of unfavorability for the governing Jamaica Labour Party, because we saw what happened in England recently, where the opposition was erroring into office with the government at a 20% deficit. So we could get there.
Hold on, Conrad. Jeffrey wanted to come in.
Let me say something here. And Conrad, you covered election longer than I do. When I saw the numbers in Western St. Andrew, wherein the former Minister of National Security, son Derek Smith, and we must bear in mind that Derek Smith was a member of Parliament for that era too, eh?
Oh yeah.
Yes, for a long time.
For a long time.
And the son is a councillor in the division.
Right. And then Jamaica's world-class Minister of Finance became the member of Parliament. Why am I going on that road? Listen to this. I heard the son say that the people are discussed over the roads and no water. So I said to myself, isn't these people mentally sick? Termite them out their brain. Hold on there. The numbers now, Conrad O'Brien. 1,863 people came out, 63 vote they got. Isn't this telling the Labour Party in that area that there's something fundamentally wrong somewhere? If the PNP had decided to contest this, the PNP would have won.
Conrad, hold on, Conrad. I am sure you know the numbers that the independent candidate get in South Trelawney yesterday.
Yes.
Okay, let's go there. South Trelawney got 1,000. The independent candidate, Mr. Lloyd Gillen, got 1,434 votes. And I'm saying this on my, I'm saying this out of my mouth. It has nothing to do with Portland Spice TV. I do not believe that the former speaker got 4,000 votes.
What?
4,146 votes she got. I don't believe it.
What you believe? What are you saying, Jeffrey?
Some hanky-panky went on. I do not believe that this woman got so much vote. And I must lift my hat to the independent candidate who got 1,434 votes. But let's go back to South Northwestern St. Andrew. Conrad O'Brien, what is your take on this? He got 1,863 votes. Come on, something is wrong somewhere in the constituency.
Conrad said it a while ago, him run against himself and lose.
All right, Jeffrey, I am not going to question the number that this Dalrymple got. I still repose confidence in the electoral system out of the EOJ. We want to start there. However, let's pivot back to Northwest St. Andrew. And this 1,800 votes, let's round it off for the discussion. 1,800 votes that Mr. Smith got, Dwayne Smith received. It's certainly a massive cause for concern. And while this is hindsight is 2020 vision, and we can always analyze and look at the thing after the fact, and based on the numbers that we're seeing, we could say, well, it seems as if at the PNP really contest, they could win it and so on. However, one could say that just maybe there would be a different kind of campaign had the PNP entered the fray. However, it is definite cause for concern, even without the PNP there, that, the JLP was not able to move its base in a more appreciable way. And it seems to me that the candidate for the PNP there, Ethne Miller, Miss Ethne Miller or Mrs. Ethne Miller Simpson, if she really stayed in there, do some work and so on, we could be in for a very interesting night.
You know what would be interesting to know,
whenever the election is on.
Jeffrey, what would be interesting to know, how many votes did Mr. Smith got in his local government election?
In his local government election.
Unmute, Jeffrey, unmute.
Good question. I may have to do a research on that. I don't have it in front of me here.
But we need to look up that.
Yes, indeed.
Because that would send also a serious signal.
Because the people are complaining that they don't see him as councillor, and that somebody saying that we don't see as councillor, how we don't see as MP. They don't see him as councillor. And it's a shame that his father, come on, back onward. His father was the member of parliament for a long while in that constituency, and roads in there have not been fixed. Then the world-class minister came in and it's the same thing.
So Andrew Wellness is blaming the PNP for bad road in that constituency too?
I blame everybody.
Of course.
It's important for us to look at this, because even remember that for 13 out of the last 17 years,
yes,
the JLP ruled the rules in terms of being government in this country. All right? In that constituency, they have been there for donkey's years. And so I think the people basically had an issue with the platform that Dwayne Smith campaigned on. Because here they must be looking at it to say, well, let's look at just the 9 years. The 9 years We have JLP MP, JLP mayors, JLP councillors, and JLP government. And in the 9 years, you come here and you're talking about how bad the roads are, the water conditions, and so on and so forth. So certainly the people sent a message, even the base of the Jamaica Labour Party, by staying away from the polls. And that is something to be noted, Colin. And let me just flip now to translate now to Northern Trelawney. Northern Trelawney. I'm sorry, not Northern. Southern Trelawney. South Trelawney. South Trelawney, my friend Colin and Jeffrey. I believe that this young man, Paul Patmore, that we're seeing down there on the PNP ticket, is a very formidable candidate. The gentleman that ran for independent there, Gillen, I think himself and Patmore will make a formidable team because everybody knows he's antecedent. So I think they'll make a formidable team. I think that what we are seeing or what we saw yesterday is simply that the people are not happy with the Prime Minister taking Dalrymple out of quote-unquote retirement without those business within the courts or those charges being finalized. And I believe that the JLP may have very well paid a price yesterday for that. And I believe that the people may very well be waiting for the general for them to pay the maximum price. And for a very long time, I think since 2002 or 2000 or 19, was it 2002 or 1997 when Mrs. Chen, Doreen Chen, won that seat for the People's National Party. I think we are seeing that glimmer of hope there in South Trelawney, and with the PNP in the ascendancy, as I said before, showing a lead of 10 percentage points at this time. And as you, Colin and Jeffrey said, that with what we're seeing, this win and the trajectory and the mood of the country, it could very well move further. And if we're seeing, if a 10, 12, say, let's say a 10 or 12% swing holds for the PNP, then we could see a number of these seats coming in. And remember now, Colin, and I'm sure you probably want to go there, but I'll just remind, in Northeast Manchester, where Wellington Wind is for the PNP, there are trouble brewing, lot of trouble in the JLP camp there. As you saw on the front page of the Gleaner on Tuesday, it shows that trouble in the camp of the Jamaica Labour Party in Northeast Manchester. So a lot of moving
Let me take you to a different kind of trouble though. Carl Samuda was out in social media yesterday saying that he heard about his retirement via a tweet. Talk to me about that. Let's go to Jeffrey first, then we'll come back to you, Conrad.
Yes.
For a man as Carl Samuda, I take tea with, I call him Uncle Carl. I take tea with him sometimes. But when he stands...
Coffee?
Well, when I should have the drunk growing it. Anyway, when Carl Samuda stand up, and you know from when I started admiring this man, is when Carl Samuda switch over to the PNP side and say, Prime Minister Patterson, give me Siaga, I will deal with him. And he took the finger and broke it into, remember?
Yes, I recall.
Remember
he broke it into. If for them to do Carl Samuda this, is to show you that the Jamaica Labour Party has reached a different point in its history where it do not respect the people within their own ranks. Conrad O'Brien.
Indeed. I really felt it for Carl Samuda. Just listen to him, listen to his pain. Because irrespective of what, when people serve an organization, it's like in a family, even a family business, the patriarch or the matriarch of that family business, if they reach a particular age and so on, and you're moving them out, you're doing with a level of decency and dignity. And you could hear the pain in Carl Samoda's voice, over the last couple of days when he spoke. And to say for him to hear of his departure by way of a tweet, oh my God, man, tell the truth. That's embarrassing. That's vulgar. That is unbecoming. And as he said, there's absolute, and I'm using his own words, he said there's absolutely no excuse and no way that you can talk that away. He also went further. He said that he spoke for Mike Henry as well. He spoke for Mike and said they're doing this to Mike as well, although we know that Mike basically, say that whatever, he basically ushered Joel Williams in as the chairman and his the person who endorsed to succeed him. And here it is. Joel Williams seems to be an unlucky man, because based on what Carl Samoda said, he said that his seat and Central Clarendon are two of the seats that a lot of people are jockeying for. Mm-hmm. So it goes to Reese Cullen and Jeffrey that Joel Williams is not home and dry as candidate for Central Clarendon, and I'm hearing that all over the place.
But what about the man that Manayard presented as well? I'm hearing that there's problem there too.
Yes, there is problem there, because the principal for Homewood, Makolsky, he is there. And of course Miller, who is the counsel for the Craighead division that Ardley endorsed, and so there's a lot of things that are happening within the Jamaica Labour Party. Not a very happy camp or a united camp at this moment at all. Lot of moving parts, and it's going to be very interesting to see.
Hold on, Conrad. I know there are some people who maybe want to chime in, and let me apologize. If you want to call, give us a call, 804-7072. You can call us straight, or you can call us on WhatsApp. We'll take your call. We have another 7 minutes to go on the program. We only do 2 hours on a Saturday morning. I want to remind you that we do 2 hours on a Tuesday night as well. Want to remind you to join the stand-up join the stand-up rally to save the roaming and the Little River. Jeffrey, you want to talk to us about that quickly?
Okay, let me do it for you. Hold on there.
So it's a rally to save the roaming and the Little River, and it's going to be on Saturday, November 23. We are at the Roaming Wine Center starting at 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's today, right?
Yes. So it's join the stand-up rally to save Rolling River, Little River, and this is put on by Jabem. Dr. Devon Taylor is putting on this. And come Sunday, they're going to have a rally, a protest again to save the beaches in this country. The government of Jamaica has given the Chinese 700 and some acres of watershed land to build 800 luxury houses on it. Where you can't go there when they done build it, and we can't go buy it.
Well, let me tell you about another one, Jeffrey.
Go ahead.
Protect access rights to the Blue Lagoon. There's also a stand-up rally, and that is going to be Sunday, November 24, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Blue Lagoon right here in Portland.
Yes, it's the same person I'm putting it on. It's the same thing. And
one is today.
One is today and one is tomorrow.
And one is tomorrow.
Yes. And the Make We Talk program will be coming live from there. We have to make sure that the people, I don't know if Colin can go out there and do something to join the people out there.
You know, the thing about tomorrow is the National Executive Council meeting of the People's National Party.
What about today?
So that is all the way down in Senton, and we made that one today.
Okay.
So tomorrow No conference now go on Arena Sunday. The conference is going to be in Hanover at Rossi's. That's where the conference is going to be. Where Mark Walden will be the guest speaker.
And of course, Conrad O'Brien will be coming live from there.
No, it's a private meeting.
I don't think so.
No, we don't allow media in the NEC.
Yeah, we don't. But I'm tired. I won't be able to go to Hanover tomorrow. But you know, Colin and Jeffrey, I want to ask my good friend, MP of Northeast St. Catherine, Currency Morrison. Hi, Kerry. How you doing? You know I love you, Currency. Just a question. Do you still hold the position that the People's National Party headquartered at 89 Old Oak Road will be a museum? or you know thinking that after the next general election, you may change the address for a museum to Belmont Road? Just ask it.
I want to play something from Nationwide, Conrad. Listen to this.
Lost, we will get back, and everywhere we want, we will in the next election.
Before I pose that question, let me just go to Damian Crawford. We have him online. Good evening, Mr. Crawford.
Yeah, we're doing well. Your reaction to the outcomes tonight? Of course, we're excited. We wanted to send the JP to conference the press, and we have achieved that. It would be a very sad conference on Sunday. I think they should postpone it and recover from this shellacking.
But did the win, Mr. Crawford, caught any of you in the party by surprise?
No. We are fully expectant of winning the next election. And it is the JLP that have the ability to call it, and they can't call it. That's because everywhere that we have lost, we will get back, and everywhere we want, we will get. So they are in a spot of bother at this moment in time.
You describe it as a shellacking. Is it really, though?
Well, two love. Any World Cup will be celebrated.
But surely the margins matter, Mr. Crawford.
No, my brother, in politics, the margins don't matter. As Lisa Anna said, if you won by 32, you will skin you 32. So at the end of the day, we only need one to win. We were very strategic in how we approached it. We knew that we had a good margin over in St. Thomas, so we focused our energies and our effort in getting back in and town against a government who have government resources, who have government ministers, and they were beaten. But I don't have to go further than the fact that the Prime Minister can call the election. So if they're confident, call it, and we could prove it in every other place that we want to prove it.
Before I pose that question,
Gentlemen, Damian Crawford, an integral part in the campaign, and all the members of Parliament were out yesterday, some in and town, some in Morant Bay, Clarendon, in Morant Bay, St. Thomas. And it was a 2-love whopping. What do you say to some people who is saying it's 2-2? 2 for the GLP, 2 for the PNP. Jeffrey, what do you say about that?
It's time for people to stop this damn nonsense. That's all I will say. Conrad?
You know, I tell you something. One of the most ludicrous statement I've ever heard coming from people who are supposed to be sensible. It's just nonsensical at its core. Really nonsensical at its core, and
I don't know what happened to Conrad and freeze up on us. But
it seems as if the Labour Party stuck him.
they freeze the internet.
Yes.
They have control over it,
Conrad, mine not just tracking you, Conrad, they tracking you?
I don't know. It could very well be. But
because there's a man in the organization. I can track you, I can see you watering your flowers.
So, yeah. So all in all, the People's National Party yesterday came out very victorious. They contested 2 elections and they won 2. So it was 2-love yesterday, and so far, Mark Walden in the PNP leading 3-love. They won the local government election, and they now won the 2 by-election that they contested yesterday. So it's 3-love, and as Damian Crawford said, that the Prime Minister still has the gift of naming the date. However, the PNP is daring Andrew Holness. They have thrown down the gauntlet. They are now saying, call it, Andrew, call it. So let's see if Andrew Holness, the man Brogard, if he will basically decide to meet Mark Jefferson Golden, Marky G in the ring. And it will be all we all see when we say, let's get ready to rumble. And at the end of the day, after the fat lady sings, we will see how this one pans out. So
Final
far,
question, gentlemen.
So far, Colin, as we always we look at trend, and certainly the trend is clearly in the direction of the People's National Party.
Colin, before you go, hold on, Colin. He will not call it, Conrad. You know what he's going to do? He's going to drag it out to go on campaign and some more lies. And saying the hotel workers are politically motivated to go out there and strike. He said in one breath that he stands with hotel workers, and on the other side of his mouth he said, no, a politician might then go out there.
Yes.
That's being hypocritical to the people of this country. Huh?
And that's why the people of Jamaica are no longer trusting this man. They don't trust him. But the final question I want to ask both of you before we go. December 6th, the court said that they will make a ruling whether or not the Prime Minister will get leave for judicial review of the Integrity Commission report. The question is, if the court does not grant him the leave, where does he go from there? Jeffrey.
The people of Jamaica has the ultimate power. And I'm not telling Jamaicans to go out there and do anything. Just like what the hotel workers are doing, we can do it. The people of Sri Lanka said to the president of Sri Lanka, enough of you. So if the court in this country don't do what they're supposed to do, because some of them get order of old donkey and order of this and order of that, so they're in his corner, So if they don't, if they don't do what they're supposed to do on December 10th, then the people of this country has the ultimate power to do what they need to do. Mr. O'Brien, over to you, sir.
All right, Jeffrey, I'm a little bit more measured. I have confidence in the judiciary of the country. I believe that we have eminent jurists, men and women of the court officers, and I believe that we will get proper ruling in this one. I reading into all of it and just looking at the IC, the Integrity Commission coming into being a creature of the Parliament, I can't see. I would be hard pressed, and it would be difficult for me to wrap my head around seeing the court ruling in favor of the Prime Minister on this one. I'm on record from day one saying this, that I believe this doing of the Prime Minister is heaping more coal upon his head. I believe that it is a wrong decision. I believe the Prime Minister was poorly advised on this. And all of us as Jamaicans, we are waiting, especially those of us who follow these things, commenting it and so on. We are waiting and anticipating the ruling coming out of the Supreme Court on the 6th of December.
Jeffrey, you wanted to say something.
Well, Conrad, you have faith in the justice system in this country. And sad to say, I don't. You know why? When will we see justice given for the death of Donnelly Donaldson? When will we see justice for so many Jamaicans languishing in our prisons in this country who has never seen the light of day?
Justice for Lindale Bloomfield, former member of Parliament.
There
of
you
East
go.
Portland.
Justice for Reverend Moore. When will we see justice in this country?
Justice for the man who died in Patrick Bailey's house.
There you go. Justice for the young lady, the blind young lady who went missing at the University of West Indies Gate. When will we see justice in this country?
Jeffrey, one thing though, some of these, you can't put it at the judiciary. Some
Because
of
that's
these
what
is
I-
at the police.
that's what-
Because
that's what
some
I
of
was
these
about
don't
to
get to
say.
the judiciary yet, but it's still justice that we need for
Yeah,
these
but that's
people.
what. But you see, we have to separate because, for example, the whole Patrick Bailey thing, the court has nothing to rule on.
Neither
The
Bloomfield.
whole thing, Donnelly's case and so on, those are things in progress. But we must also, we can't have our cake and eat it. Or we can't be satisfied and say, boy, justice prevail when we get a particular result. It's the same court. It's the same court we saw that based on what came out of the Privy Council and when they analyze it's the same court. Some of us don't agree with it, but it's the same court that Free Vibes Cartel.
And why the court Free Vibe Cartel? Sorry, Conrad and Colin. Why the court Free Vibe Cartel is because it went to
because of the evidence that was in front of them when it went to the highest court.
Conrad.
That's not
if it never got to the Lords of Lord in London and they send it back down, the Jamaican people would never know that the Director of Public Prosecution has dealt with tainted jurors before. We would never know that she's the one who did all of this.
Hold on. Why Vibes Cartel was freed was that the court, what the Privy Council said, is that the fact that the jury was tainted, there should have been a retrial. And the court continue with those jurors. So it still come back to worrying about...
I'm not saying anything different. I said Vibes Cartel was freed based on the case went to the Privy Council and they sent it down back here to Jamaica, and our court look at it and they acted accordingly because they recognized that it was infutility. They could not mount any form of strong defense and so on based on what you just mentioned, Colin. So the court has actually looked at it. I am not prepared. Granted, as I said before, our system, and the truth is that I am more prepared to say that, listen, the case that goes to the court in Jamaica from the police and so on, we need to have better case being prepared, and we need to have more situation coming through. Because take, for example, the Patrick Bailey situation. It is hard to fathom how could somebody being murdered in any person's house, it just happened to be Patrick Bailey at the minute, but in any house, my house, your house, Colin Jeffrey's house, without any forced entry, and we are not seen as even a suspect.
But not even down a station, the man no go.
So those are the questions, and that you can't put at the court. It's certainly
definitely not the court.
Certainly. So there's a lot of things. Also, one second, just before you're one of your favorite person, Colin, Dr. Bloomfield. Dr. Bloomfield's in a situation. Remember now that case went to the court. The problem again is with the police. There's not even a situation where they said that this man is a person of interest and said they are looking for him.
Even wanted nothing. But finally, the Prime Minister is asking the court to struck out the law that makes illicit enrichment illegal. What say you?
Same law that he made.
What say you about that?
Colin, I am waiting on the 6th of December. I'll just say this, that I find it very, very, very unfortunate and ironic.
Thank you, Conrad.
What I would say is this, that you can't have your cake and near me. That's how you go. You can't do that. And if you was the one who allowed the law to go through And because the same law that you implemented come back
Right,
to you,
Joe.
you want to stroke it down? Something wrong with you? Remember to join us tomorrow. Hold on for me. Remember to join us tomorrow from 1 o'clock until 4 o'clock for the protests at the Blue Lagoon. And also on Monday, the Make We Talk Current Affair program hosted by myself, Wilfred Rattigan, and our two guests will be these two gentlemen here who decide to speak true to power no matter what. They don't care who. Because they're not afraid of no boy, no girl, nowhere.
No
Conor
time.
O'Brien and Colin Campbell.
Colin Bell is the name.
Colin Bell, rather. Colin Bell, sorry,
Gentlemen,
Colin Bell.
Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure having you on this morning. Thanks for your time. And of course, we'll be on Make We Talk on Monday. Conrad will be on News Talk 93 straight up Monday and Tuesday from 9 until midday. Check him out. Gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
All of that. God bless you. Take care.
You've been listening to Talk to Me on Portland Spice TV. Yeah, man, like up the video. Thanks, everybody, for coming on this morning. We want to thank Julian Robinson, our first guest this morning. Thanks, Conrad O'Brien. Thanks, Jeffrey Tavares, for spending time with us this morning. Thanks to you, my listeners and viewers. Thank you very much for coming on. Thanks to all the people who've been in the chat room, atting it up, at it up, at it up. Yeah, man, we love it. Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure. Do remember to join us Tuesday night for another show right here on Portland Spice TV. And on Tuesday night, we'll be on Styles FM 96.1, 96.5, 96.7. We'll be on Caribbean Radio HD. Yeah, man, where we deal with solution as we promote the beautiful parish of Portland. One love, my people. May the good Lord continue to bless and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his light and give you his peace now and forevermore. Blessings.